Hey YouTube, how's it going? Wanted to do a video on these, the Obama's executive actions. I guess they're not executive orders, but executive actions. One of them we should be concerned about would be the HIPAA laws being changed to so that the doctors will report your psychiatric mental health information. That concerns me in a lot of ways. I know several veterans from Iraq War, recent conflicts that have come back wounded, and they are instantaneously stamped with PTSD. One of them that I talked to said he told them, "No, I don't have PTSD." And they automatically stamp a lot of these veterans with that, and they basically told them, "Yes, you do." So I don't know how that works, how they come about that decision, but I mean that would instantly be on the books for gun control. Obama's backdoor gun control here. The other one, so the HIPAA laws now are in your favor. The doctors are not allowed to release information to anybody without your express written consent. And Obama wants to change the rules to backdoor that, to say that you can't, regardless of your written consent, your non-consent, they're going to do it anyway. The other one is the new ruling for the ATF, which would be when you need an FFL, how many guns you can sell from your private collection or buy for personal collections would constitute you being an FFL and requiring that license to do that, to sell your own guns. What they don't put in that regulation or that rule change in the ATF guidelines is how many guns you can and can't sell or buy. At what point do they consider you to be in it for profit and would need to be a licensed FFL dealer? What I haven't heard a lot of people discuss on the internet, of course that situation there has been discussed, but what I haven't heard is if, say, I sell 2 or 3 guns in a year, whatever it is, a couple guns a month or 4 or 5 guns a year, whatever. How are they going to know? How are they going to keep track of that? Obviously, there has to be some way of doing it, and they haven't told anybody how they're going to be keeping track of that. One, there are a couple ways they can do it. They can say that at the end of the year you need to fill out some paperwork and say this is what I bought and this is what I sold, and then they determine if that's too many or not enough. But then again, they're keeping track of you and what you're doing with your private property, because guns, regardless of what anybody decides, they are private property. Once you purchase them, they're your own private property, and you can do with it whatever you want. Sell it, trade it, destroy it, fix it, whatever. I mean, it's your property. I don't think they should be entitled to that. Now, the second way they can keep track of that is a gun registry. And everybody knows that gun registration is a no-go for the Second Amendment and our Constitution. Good things just don't come from gun registration and gun registries. So just something to think about. How, okay, to some people that rule may seem okay. I mean, if you're selling 100, 200, 300 guns a year, yeah, you might be considered an FFL, but you're only selling 2 or 3 or something like that. the bottom line is, how are they going to know? How are they going to keep track of that? Send auditors to your house to look at your gun collection and then send them back in a year and see if the gun collection has changed. Are they going to do it on, letting you notify them when you do it? And then again, that to me is some form of registry. And if you're purchasing them from an FFL, and then selling them or selling them back to an FFL or transferring them that way, they would have to keep the NICS records for longer than they say. I think the NICS system is 3 days or 5 days, something like that. They can only keep those records for that long and then they're gone. I know for a fact that FFLs in my area in Idaho, they need to keep their FFL records, the form you fill out, for 5 years. And then even then, some of them keep them longer because they're afraid that they might get audited or whatever. So that's for FFLs. But for private individuals, how do you think they're going to manage to keep track of what you're selling, how often you're selling, and how many you're selling? I would hope that it's on an honor system. Actually, I would hope it's none of it. But the lesser of two evils is still evil. But the lesser of two evils is that they go by an honor system where you fill out a form when you do your taxes and say, yes, this is what I sold, this is what I didn't sell. Again, that to me is a tracking device, a form of tracking your gun situation. Because number one, you would have to put down how many guns you bought, how many guns you sold, which ones were they, the serial numbers, all that stuff. And I would definitely hope that it wouldn't be a gun registration thing, because that's out of the question for me. I'm not going to abide by that. I don't believe in gun registrations. Like I said, nothing good has ever come from a gun registration. So anyway, put your thoughts in the comments below. Like I said, I wanted to do this video because I don't think at least the channels I've watched, there hasn't been any discussion on that topic of how they're going to keep track of that. Of course, there are other things in Obama's backdoor executive actions, not executive orders, that backdoor a lot of your rights. And the HIPAA thing is concerning to me because that just opens the door to all kinds of things. They can change the rule or the diagnosis on what they consider to be mental health issues, insomnia, something like that, and then definitely the gun, selling too many guns and need an FFL license. Nobody's discussed how we're going to keep track, how they are going to keep track of that. Personally, I've sold guns and I've bought guns without an FFL in face-to-face. Granted, I knew everyone I sold my guns to. A good majority of those were concealed weapons holders, and I didn't have any problem with doing that. And I still wouldn't have a problem with selling to another private individual. My line of work, I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Anything can happen. And I think one of the other things is, by keeping track of this, if you sold a gun to somebody and then they went and used it in a crime, is that another backdoor to saying you're at fault for selling somebody that wasn't supposed to have a gun doing what they did, and laying the blame on you, which I know they've tried to do with gun manufacturers. They want to sue the gun manufacturers for selling a certain gun, or they want to sue the FFL for selling a gun to somebody that passed the background check and then they went and committed a crime, and to me that's bullshit. Those people had nothing to do with it whatsoever. How do you even know if somebody's going to commit a crime with a firearm or any other instrument or tool? So anyway, Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and put your comments below and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.